As you journey through the vast and ancient lands of Middle-earth, the wonders of this world reveal themselves in both nature and in the monumental works of its people. Among these marvels stands the Argonath, a pair of towering statues that have watched over the Anduin River for thousands of years. These colossal sentinels, also known as the Pillars of the Kings, symbolize the glory and power of Gondor in its prime. But who built these imposing figures, and what purpose did they serve? Welcome to Middle-earth Chronicles. In today's video, we'll uncover the story behind the creation of the Argonath and the significance it held for the kingdom of Gondor. The vision behind the Argonath was born out of a critical period in Gondor's history, a time when the kingdom faced external threats and internal decline. The inspiration for these monumental statues did not arise merely from a desire to create an impressive work of art, but rather from a pressing need to establish Gondor's dominance and protect its borders. The mastermind behind this vision was Minalcar, who would later be known as Romendasil II, a name meaning East Victor, earned after his decisive victory over the Easterlings. Minalcar was a regent, a role that granted him control over the kingdom during a period when the ruling king, Narmakul IV, had little interest in governing. The kingdom of Gondor had seen better days. It was no longer the flourishing power it once was under the great Romendasil II. The vigilance that had once kept Mordor and other enemies at bay had waned, and the kingdom's borders were increasingly under threat. It was in this atmosphere of growing danger that Minalcar took it upon himself to secure Gondor's future. He understood that strength alone was not enough. Gondor needed to project an image of power and unyielding resolve to both its allies and enemies. The construction of the Argonath was a direct response to the threats that loomed from the north and east. The Easterlings, a fierce and warlike people, had begun to stir again after years of relative peace. Their movements threatened not only Gondor, but also its allies in the region of Rhovanion. Minalcar's victory over the Easterlings was not just a military triumph, but a statement of Gondor's enduring strength. He knew, however, that this victory would not be enough to deter future attacks. The Easterlings, like many of Gondor's enemies, were persistent, and they would likely regroup and return. To prevent this, Minalcar conceived a plan to create a lasting symbol of Gondor's power, something that would serve as both a warning and a deterrent. The Argonath was to be this symbol, a pair of massive statues that would stand at the northern border of Gondor, where the Anduin River narrowed into a gorge before flowing into the lake Nen Hithoil. This location was strategically chosen. The narrow gorge made it a natural gateway into the heart of Gondor, and placing the statues here meant that anyone traveling down the Anduin River would have to pass beneath them. The imposing figures would be the first sight of Gondor for those coming from the north, a powerful reminder of the kingdom's might and its readiness to defend its lands. Minalcar's vision for the Argonath was not just about creating a deterrent. It was also about reaffirming Gondor's heritage and the legacy of its founding kings. By depicting the first kings of Gondor, Isildur and Anarion, the statues would serve as a reminder of the kingdom's noble origins and its rightful claim over its territories. The choice of these two kings was deliberate. Isildur and Anarion were not just rulers, they were symbols of Gondor's strength and legitimacy, the sons of Elendil, who had led the survivors of Numenor to Middle-earth and established the kingdom. By immortalizing them in stone, Minalcar sought to link Gondor's present struggles with its glorious past. reinforcing the idea that the kingdom was part of an unbroken line of kings who had protected and preserved it through the ages. The actual construction of the Argonath was a feat of engineering and craftsmanship that reflected the skill and dedication of Gondor's stonemasons. The statues were carved directly from the cliffs that flanked the Anduin River, using the natural rock formations as the foundation for these towering figures. The process of creating the Argonath would have taken years, if not decades, requiring not only the physical labor of carving the stone, but also the careful planning and design to ensure that the statues would stand the test of time. Each statue was meticulously crafted to capture the likeness of the kings, Isildur and Anarion. These were not mere representations. They were meant to embody the king's power and authority. The stonemasons of Gondor, whose names have been lost to history, poured their skill into every detail. The faces of the statues were stern and commanding, their eyes staring northward in a perpetual gaze of vigilance. The kings were depicted in regal armor, with helmets and crowns upon their heads, signifying their royal status. In their right hands they held axes, weapons of war, while their left hands were raised in a gesture of warning, palms facing outward. This posture was designed to convey both the power of the kings and the message that Gondor was not to be trifled with. The scale of the Argonath was unprecedented. Each statue rose to a height that dwarfed any other structure in the region, standing atop colossal pedestals set above the deep waters of the Anduin. The sheer size of the statues made them visible from great distances, ensuring that they would be seen by all who approached Gondor from the north. This grandeur was intentional. It was meant to inspire awe and fear in equal measure, a testament to the might of Gondor and its kings. The choice of location also played a crucial role in the effectiveness of the Argonath. The narrow gorge where the statues were erected created a natural choke point, funneling all river traffic through a single, easily defensible area. By placing the statues here, Minalcar ensured that anyone attempting to enter Gondor from the north would have to pass beneath the watchful eyes of the kings, a psychological barrier as much as a physical one. The Argonath, therefore, was not just a monument, but a fortification, part of Gondor's broader strategy to secure its borders and protect its people. The symbolism of the Argonath was deeply intertwined with Gondor's identity and history. The statues were more than just stone figures. They were a declaration of Gondor's strength and its unbroken lineage of kings. By depicting Isildur and Anarion, the Argonath connected the present to the past, reminding all who saw them that Gondor was founded by the greatest of men, the survivors of Numenor, who had defeated Sauron in the War of the Last Alliance. The raised hands of the statues, with their palms facing outward, symbolized a warning to Gondor's enemies, a clear message that any who sought to challenge the kingdom would face the wrath of its kings. This gesture of warning was particularly significant given the context in which the Argonath was built. The Easterlings, who had been defeated by Minalcar, were a persistent threat, and the northern regions were always at risk of invasion. The Argonath served as a psychological barrier, a reminder to Gondor's enemies that the kingdom was protected by the spirits of its founders. It was a bold statement of defiance, meant to deter any would-be invaders from attempting to cross into Gondor's lands. At the same time, the Argonath also reinforced the idea of Gondor's rightful dominion over its territories. The statues were not just warnings to enemies, they were also symbols of Gondor's sovereignty. By placing the likenesses of Isildur and Anarion on the statues, Minalcar was asserting that Gondor's rule was legitimate, rooted in the ancient line of Numenor's kings. This was particularly important during a time when Gondor's power was beginning to wane and its enemies were becoming more bold. The Argonath was a way of reminding both the people of Gondor and those who lived in the surrounding regions that the kingdom's authority was absolute and enduring. The symbolism of the Argonath extended beyond its immediate impact. Over the centuries, the statues became a part of the cultural and historical fabric of Middle-earth. They were remembered not just as monuments to Gondor's strength, but as symbols of the enduring legacy of Númenor and the Dunedain. The Argonath was a reminder that Gondor, despite its struggles, was part of a larger history, one that connected it to the great events of the past and to the fate of Middle-earth as a whole. In this way, the Argonath transcended its original purpose as a border marker and deterrent. It became a symbol of the resilience and endurance of Gondor and its people, even as the kingdom faced challenges and declined in power. The Argonath stood as a testament to the greatness that Gondor had once achieved and to the legacy that it sought to preserve. The statues became a symbol of hope and continuity, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the spirit of Gondor and its kings would endure. The power of the Argonath through the ages is a testament to the skill of its builders and the vision of its creator, Minalcar. Long after the statues were erected, their presence continued to evoke awe and fear in those who passed by them. This enduring power is evident in the way the Argonath affected the Fellowship of the Ring as they journeyed down the Anduin River during the War of the Ring, thousands of years after the statues were first built. When the Fellowship approached the Argonath, the statues loomed over the river, their massive forms casting long shadows across the water. The sight of the Argonath had a profound effect on the members of the Fellowship, each of whom reacted differently to the presence of these ancient sentinels. Frodo, the bearer of the One Ring, felt a deep sense of fear and awe as he gazed upon the statues. The power of the kings, even after millennia, was palpable, and Frodo, burdened by the weight of the ring, was unable to look directly at their faces. This reaction highlights the enduring presence of the king's spirits, their power still felt by those who came into contact with the Argonath. Boromir, the son of the steward of Gondor, who had grown up hearing tales of Gondor's greatness, was also deeply affected by the sight of the Argonath. As a man of Gondor, Boromir was intimately connected to the legacy of the kingdom, and the statues represented everything that he believed in and sought to protect. The sight of the Argonath filled Boromir with a sense of reverence and duty, reminding him of the ancient lineage that he was a part of and the responsibility that came with it. Boromir's reaction underscores the role of the Argonath as a symbol of Gondor's enduring power and the sense of duty that it inspired in those who served the kingdom. Aragorn, the heir of Isildur and the rightful king of Gondor, had a unique connection to the Argonath. As he guided the Fellowship through the gorge, Aragorn was the only one who could look openly at the statues. For Aragorn, the Argonath was not just a reminder of Gondor's past, but a symbol of his own destiny. The statues of Isildur and Anarion were his ancestors, and the power they represented was also his to inherit. As he gazed upon the statues, Aragorn was reminded of the great responsibility that lay before him to reclaim his birthright and restore Gondor to its former glory. In this moment, the Argonath served as a bridge between the past and the future, connecting Aragorn to the legacy of his forefathers and the role he was destined to play in the fate of Middle-earth. The enduring power of the Argonath is a reflection of the strength and resilience of Gondor itself. Despite the passage of time and the decline of the kingdom, the statues remained a potent symbol of the kings who had founded Gondor and the power they wielded. The fact that the Argonath had suffered minimal damage over the centuries, with only the helmets of the statues showing signs of wear, is a testament to the skill of the stonemasons who crafted them and the strength of the vision that inspired their creation. The Argonath's ability to evoke such strong reactions in those who saw it speaks to the lasting impact it had on the people of Middle-earth. The statues were not just a physical barrier, but a psychological one, a reminder of the power and authority of Gondor that had endured through the ages. The fact that even a hobbit like Frodo, who had little knowledge of Gondor's history, could feel the power of the Argonath underscores the universal nature of its symbolism. The statues represented more than just Gondor. They were a symbol of the strength and resilience of the Dunedain and the enduring legacy of Numenor. In the end, the legacy of the Argonath is a reflection of the enduring spirit of Gondor. The statues stand as a testament to the strength and determination of the men who built them, and the vision of Minalcar, who sought to create a lasting symbol of Gondor's power. Even as the kingdom faced decline and its enemies grew stronger, the Argonath remained a reminder of the greatness that Gondor had once achieved and the legacy that it sought to preserve. The statues of Isildur and Anarion continue to inspire awe and reverence in all who see them, a symbol of the enduring power of the kings of Gondor and the kingdom they founded. The power of the Argonath through the ages is a remarkable testament to the enduring legacy of Gondor and its kings. As the centuries passed and the world of Middle-earth changed, the Argonath remained a constant, standing tall and unyielding against the forces of time. These statues, once erected as a warning to Gondor's enemies and a symbol of its strength, continued to project an aura of power and majesty long after their creation. Their influence extended far beyond their immediate surroundings, shaping the perceptions and actions of those who encountered them. When the Fellowship of the Ring approached the Argonath during their journey down the Anduin River, they were met with a sight that resonated with the weight of history. The two massive statues, carved into the cliffs on either side of the river, towered over the Fellowship, casting long shadows across the water. The sheer size and scale of the Argonath were enough to inspire awe, but it was the presence of the statues that truly left a lasting impression. Even after thousands of years, the power of the kings depicted in the Argonath could still be felt, a testament to the skill of the stonemasons and the vision of those who had commissioned their creation. Frodo Baggins, the bearer of the One Ring, was particularly affected by the sight of the Argonath. As the statues loomed over him, Frodo was gripped by a sense of fear and awe, a feeling that went beyond mere intimidation. The power of the kings, Isildur and Anarion, seemed to emanate from the stone, pressing down on Frodo and making him acutely aware of the immense responsibility he carried. The Argonath served as a reminder of the greatness that had once defined Gondor and the legacy that Frodo, as the ring-bearer, was now a part of. The statues, with their stern gazes and raised hands, seemed to judge him, forcing him to confront the enormity of his task and the burden he bore. Boromir, the son of the Steward of Gondor, also felt the power of the Argonath. As a man of Gondor, Boromir had been raised on stories of the kingdom's past glory, and the Argonath represented the pinnacle of that greatness. The sight of the statues filled Boromir with a sense of pride and reverence, but also a deep sadness. The Argonath reminded him of the power and majesty that Gondor had once wielded, a power that had since diminished. Boromir's reaction to the Argonath was a reflection of his inner turmoil, the conflict between his desire to restore Gondor to its former glory and his growing desperation in the face of the kingdom's decline. The statue served as a stark reminder of the legacy he was fighting to protect, and the burden of that responsibility weighed heavily on him. Aragorn, the heir of Isildur and the rightful king of Gondor, had a different reaction to the Argonath. For Aragorn, the statues were not just a symbol of Gondor's past, but a reminder of his own destiny. The likenesses of Isildur and Anarion were his ancestors, and the power they represented was also his to inherit. As Aragorn gazed upon the Argonath, he felt a deep connection to the kings who had come before him, and the responsibility that he would one day bear as the king of Gondor. The Argonath served as a catalyst for Aragorn's transformation from a ranger known as Strider into the leader he was destined to become. In that moment, Aragorn embraced his heritage and the role he was meant to play in the fate of Middle-earth. The enduring power of the Argonath is also evident in the way it shaped the perception of Gondor among its enemies. The statues were originally constructed as a warning to any who would dare challenge the kingdom, and that warning continued to resonate through the ages. Even after Gondor's power had waned, the Argonath remained a symbol of the kingdom's strength, a reminder to its enemies that Gondor was not to be underestimated. The fear and respect that the statues commanded were not based solely on their physical presence, but on the legacy they represented, the unbroken line of kings who had defended Gondor for generations. The Argonath also played a role in preserving the memory of Gondor's past greatness among its allies and in the wider world of Middle-earth. The statues served as a reminder that Gondor was not just a kingdom, but a beacon of hope and strength in a world beset by darkness. The Argonath stood as a testament to the resilience of the Dunedain, the descendants of Númenor, who had built Gondor and defended it against the forces of evil. Even as the kingdom faced decline, the Argonath continued to inspire those who sought to uphold the ideals of Gondor and protect the free peoples of Middle-earth. The legacy of the Argonath extends far beyond the physical statues themselves. They are a symbol of the enduring spirit of Gondor, a reminder of the greatness that the kingdom once achieved and the legacy that it sought to preserve. The Argonath stands as a testament to the vision of Minalcar, who understood the importance of projecting power and strength in the face of growing threats. The statues are also a reflection of the skill and dedication of the stonemasons who crafted them, ensuring that they would stand the test of time and continue to inspire awe and reverence in all who saw them. The legacy of the Argonath is also deeply intertwined with the broader history of Middle-earth. The statues serve as a physical representation of the unbroken line of kings who have ruled Gondor since its founding, connecting the present to the past and reminding all who see them of the kingdom's noble origins. The Argonath is a symbol of the resilience and endurance of the Dunedain, the descendants of Númenor, who have defended Middle-earth against the forces of darkness for generations. In the context of the broader history of Middle-earth, the Argonath also serves as a reminder of the fleeting nature of power and the inevitability of change. Gondor, once the most powerful kingdom in Middle-earth, eventually faced decline, and the Argonath stands as a testament to the passage of time and the challenges that even the greatest of kingdoms must face. The statues, though still standing, bear the marks of time. The crumbling helmets atop the kings' heads, a subtle reminder that even the mightiest works of man are not immune to the ravages of time. Yet, despite the wear and tear of centuries, the Argonath's power and significance have not diminished. They continue to inspire awe and respect, serving as a reminder of the greatness that Gondor once embodied and the legacy that it left behind. The statues of Isildur and Anarion stand as a testament to the enduring spirit of Gondor, a symbol of the kingdom's strength and resilience that has withstood the test of time. The Argonath also plays a significant role in the cultural memory of Middle-earth. The statues are not just a monument to Gondor's past, but a symbol of the shared history and heritage of the free peoples of Middle-earth. The Argonath represents the ideals of strength, vigilance, and the willingness to defend what is right, values that have been passed down through generations. In this way, the Argonath continues to inspire those who seek to uphold these ideals, even as the world around them changes. In the end, the legacy of the Argonath is a reflection of the enduring power of symbols in shaping the perceptions and actions of individuals and societies. The statues of Isildur and Anarion have transcended their original purpose as a warning to Gondor's enemies, becoming a symbol of the kingdom's resilience and the legacy of its kings. The Argonath stands as a testament to the vision of Minalcar, the skill of Gondor's stonemasons, and the enduring spirit of the Dunedain. Even as the world of Middle-earth changes, the Argonath remains a constant, a reminder of the greatness that once was and the legacy that continues to inspire.